But more importantly, the company was in a really bad spot. We weren't profiting, so I decided to lay one guy off. His name is Jose. Most of the money is still coming from projects. They're our biggest money maker. So now, 3 years later, we're doing 1.7 million. So it is the middle of July. It's hot as hell in Rhode Island. It's been 90 plus degrees. Yesterday I let the guys go home a little early, so it's important to keep the guys healthy, safety first. That said, mowing crews, we lost a couple of big mowing accounts that were taking excess of maybe 5 or 6 hours. So without those big mowing accounts for the mowing crews, they're mowing less. So it doesn't make sense to have 3 mowing crews working 6, 7 hours a day. So I decided to lay one guy off. His name is Jose. He's worked out great. He's super reliable, great attitude. So it made sense for us to have Randy, our senior mowing foreman, mow by himself because he can probably get to 15, 20 jobs by himself a day. And to increase profitability and to get our charge rates higher, it just makes sense to have Randy mow alone, lay one guy off until we get busy again, and then the other 2 mowing crews will have a bit more hours. So right now, with things being slow, I had to make the tough decision to lay a guy off today. I was a bit anxious about it coming in, but with Jose's positive attitude and his understanding, I think, he had no problem with it today. The cool thing about unemployment is, if you have guys who file for unemployment and you have work available for them, it's important that they take the work. In this case, Jose is able to work 8 or 10 hours without it impacting his unemployment. So I told Jose, we'll keep you on for 1 day a week. You can collect unemployment for the time that you're not working, and then the 1 day he works won't impact his unemployment. So essentially, he'll be getting his unemployment payment and the 1 day of work with the company. So he was okay with that. He smiled, and that's going to start on Monday.
How important is that? Because obviously you feel bad for kind of having to lay someone off, but it's necessary for the business. So what's some tips to navigate that? Because you can't mix business and how you feel.
Yeah, it has to be free of emotion, right? You have to do what's best for the company. As a co-owner and general manager, it's my responsibility to protect the assets of the company and the bottom line.
Also, keeping Jose on 1 day a week, when you guys get busy, it's easy just to get him back in the full-time rotation, so you don't have to go out and look for new employees, because right now that's very difficult to find a good employee in today's climate and landscape.
You nailed it, exactly. So that's why I wanted to keep him on 1 day a week. It keeps him engaged, it keeps him on payroll. We don't have to completely sever ties with him and then have to struggle to find somebody. Chances are he'll collect his unemployment, he'll work his 1 day a week here, and then in 2 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever, when things get busy, I'm sure he's going to come back. So we're always planning ahead and just trying to prevent as many fires before they occur. Yeah. Justin and I, and he's great at it, we always try to look ahead and say, all right, what if this happens? What if that happens? Right now we have 1 spare truck, so that way in the event 1 truck goes down, we have a backup truck. And we have plenty of trailers as well, so it's not like if we have a trailer down, we're shit out of luck with the trailer. So we just try to build as much redundancy and in as many areas as possible, especially with cross-training. Super important, right? If you have 1 guy doing fertilizing, and let's say Jack gets hurt in the job, and I have nobody else trained for fertilizer, now we're fucked, right? But if I have somebody else cross-trained on FERT, let's say Jack takes another job, has to take time off, at least I have somebody who can fill that void.
So we're about halfway through the summer season. What's the biggest way you guys are earning revenue right now at this point of the year?
Right now, most of the money is still coming from projects. They're our biggest money maker, and projects include mulch installation, installs, brush removal, trimming, stuff like that. So our projects crews are our biggest breadwinner by far. Secondly would probably be mowing. It's our biggest money maker across the board. We earn between $400,000 and $500,000 a year from mowing. But the thing with mowing, even though it's our biggest revenue producer, it's our lowest value service. And I say that because it has a low charge rate, it gets the most complaints, and it's the least profitable service we have. The charge rate is low on that. The good thing about mowing is that I call it a gateway service. So somebody will contact you for mowing, and lo and behold, a couple weeks down the road, if you're doing a good job, oh, I need some mulch as well, or I need trimming. And oftentimes it can lead to other work. But again, lowest value service, and we have to make it as profitable as possible.
Now, how important is upselling? Do you guys upsell a lot?
Super, super important, especially this time of year. And Ready Business Systems and RI Lawns, we have upsell automations. And with Ready Business Systems, we have that built out. It's a pre-built automation that we can download into clients' accounts almost instantly. Not only does it keep work coming in during the busy season, but it's especially important during the slow time, which is usually July and August, especially around here in Rhode Island. So the upsell automation works like this. The guys in the field see an upsell on a property. They have a form that they fill out when they clock out of the job, and it asks specifically, do you see any upsells on the property? And they'll select head trimming, weeding, edging. It then creates a ticket for me inside of Service Autopilot. I look at the client's account very quickly. I see if they got a quote for mulch installation recently, or if they had any upsell emails for that recently. And if they don't, I send out an automatic upsell email. It sends a text and an email to the client. An email the first day and a text follow-up the next day. And a lot of times people say, sure, yeah, I like a quote. And essentially, the upsell automation is what keeps us running throughout the summer. The value is huge in the upsell automation.
So let's talk about the growth of the company over the past handful of years. I forget what the number was when we talked about it before, but when you came on board, how much the gross revenue was for the season? I think it was like $600K maybe?
Yeah. So I came on board. I used to work for the company back in 2012 to 2014 as the office manager. Came back to this company at the end of 2021. I came on as the FERT program manager in 2022. And at that time, we had a manager who wasn't growing the business. And the company at the time was only doing about $600,000. When I first started the FERT program, we had 12 fertilizing clients. Now we have 170. But more importantly, the company was in a really bad spot. We weren't profiting. We were in debt, I think at least $30,000, $40,000, and the company was only doing about $600,000. One thing I remind the guys about is we had a Facebook post or an ad, and people used to harass us on Facebook and online. But one person in particular referred to the company as the loser lose of South County. And honestly, I don't even know what a loser loo is, but I know I don't want to be one. So now, 3 years later, we're doing 1.7 million. We have a team of 15 guys, and we're profiting around 10, 12, 15%. We have to look at the numbers. So when I came on, Justin and I made a plan for this company. We said, all right, we're gonna fucking grind on this, and we're gonna put our head down, and we're really gonna build this company out. So I know through work experiences and just my own personal experiences at different jobs, culture to me is the most important thing. And in a lot of state jobs, you don't have culture, and the employees are really negative. They walk around, they complain all day. There's nothing really there for them that makes them want to be part of something bigger. So I said to myself, the only way this company is going to grow is by finding my team, a solid team of reliable guys who are going to invest in the company and care and want to grow with you. So I focused a lot for the first 2 years on building culture. So building culture was really my number one goal, and it took a ton of time and effort to do that. Last year in the spring, I hired a bunch of guys, and I really tried to build culture with these guys that I had, but they just weren't good employees. And then about halfway through last year, this time last year, we started attracting some really good applicants. Neki, who's in the military, he came on board. Kevin, our gardener, applied, I think, last year around this time. Josh, who's also in the military, he's Neki's nephew. He applied a little later in the year. And a few other guys that we have now.
Noah, I think Noah came out.
He came in later in December. But between July and August and December of last year, I was able to hire really, really good employees. And really, that was my team. I knew I had my guys, so I had to really focus and harness building culture in the company. And we've succeeded at that. And I always tell people, I'll continue to pay you as much as you're worth, as long as you take care of us. When a company reaches, especially a landscaping business, when it reaches $1 million, it takes you out of the truck and it puts you in front of a computer for most, if not all, of your day. And essentially, you become the architect of the business. So we have an office manager now. We have Anthony, our production manager. I've got somebody writing marketing emails. In addition to all that other stuff, last year I was doing social media posting. Now we have Jared, who does our social media posting. One of the other goals we wanted was finding a videographer. We found Unico, and I couldn't be happier with the way things are going. Recently, somebody on Facebook said, It's hard to compete with RI Lawns. And when you compare that to what that one person posted 3 years ago, the loser of South County, now we have another guy who owns a local business, said it's hard to compete with RI Lawns. That means we've earned respect.